Hello my dear students, once again welcome to our physics class. Hope you all are fine over there. Children, we have learnt in the previous chapter about light and some of its properties. In this chapter, we shall use these ideas to study some of the optical phenomena in nature. We shall also discuss about the rainbow formation, splitting of white light and blue color of the sky. You have studied in the previous chapter about refraction of light by lenses. You also studied the nature, position and relative size of images formed by lenses. How can these ideas help us in the study of human eye? The human eye uses light and enables us to see objects around us. It also has a lens in its structure. What is the function of this lens in a human eye? How do the lenses used in the spectacles correct defects of vision? Let us consider all these questions in this chapter. So let's discuss about human eye first. So we see many beautiful things around us: rainbow, colorful butterfly, forest, beautiful flowers and so on, isn't it? What enables us to see these things? Eyes and light. No light, no sight. You all know that. So in this chapter, we will study about our eyes and also some interesting properties of light. Let's understand how the human eye helps us in seeing the objects. The eye is roughly spherical in shape. Children, this is not a biology class, but somehow it will closely correlate, or we can closely relate our class to a biology class now, because some of the biological phenomena associated with the eye will be discussed in this session. Okay, so just look at this figure. Here you can see the cross-sectional view of human eye, and the eye is roughly spherical in shape. It is not an exact sphere, but it is roughly spherical in shape. Now, let's discuss about the different parts of human eye. So the first part that we are going to discuss is cornea. Can you see cornea here? See, this is cornea, the outermost part of the eye, that is cornea. Light mainly falls on this cornea, the white clear front part of the eye, that is cornea. All of you can see a white clear part in your eye, isn't it? That is cornea. And this cornea is slightly bulging forward. You know that. Just go through your eyes, you will understand that. It is tough and protects the interior of the eye from accidents. So the outermost covering of the eye, that is cornea. And you know, our human eyes is one of the most valuable and sensitive sense organs. So it has to be carefully protected from accidents, and this cornea helps us in protecting our interior of eye from accidents. Okay. And next part is iris. So what do you mean by iris? See, iris is a muscular structure. Iris is a muscular structure behind cornea. So behind cornea, you can see iris here. Okay, this is iris. If you want, you can zoom it. So this muscular structure, this dark muscular diaphragm, that is the actual word, dark muscular diaphragm, or this muscular structure of the eye is iris, and this iris controls the amount of light reaching the interior of eye. And how does the iris controls the amount of light entering our eye? By adjusting the size of pupil. So what do you mean by pupil? Pupil is the central part of iris. Okay, so the central part of iris is pupil, and iris helps us to control the size of this pupil. Okay, it adjusts the size of this pupil. So iris is that part of the eye which gives it the color such as black, brown, green eyes, commonly called cat eyes, etc. So iris is a dark muscular diaphragm that adjusts the size of pupil and also controls the amount of light entering the eye. What is pupil? Pupil is the central part of iris. So next we can discuss about pupil in detail. See, pupil. Pupil regulates and controls the amount of light enter the eye. How? So don't get confused between the functions of iris and pupil. Iris is a dark muscular diaphragm that controls the size of pupil, and pupil regulates and controls the amount of light entering the eye. So you might have noticed one thing. Whenever you enter into a dark room, your pupil will be dilated so as to accommodate more light into the eye. But at the same time, whenever you go out in a bright sunny day, on a bright sunny day, you can see your pupil size is reduced because the pupil gets contracted. Okay, so thus pupil regulates and controls the amount of light entering the eye. And the next important part, that is behind pupil, you can see a crystalline shaped lens. Okay, a crystalline shaped structure, and this structure has got the shape of a convex lens, isn't it? So this is the eye lens, and eye lens is a convex lens. Okay, so the eye's crystalline biconvex shaped lens is located behind pupil. So you can see this is pupil, and behind pupil you can see a crystalline structure in the shape of a convex lens. So this is our eye lens. And what is the function of eye lens? Eye lens helps to focus the image, isn't it? Eye lens forms an inverted real image of the object on the retina. So retina is the next part. So what is retina? See, here you can see the retina. Retina is just like a screen. So whatever image is formed by the eye lens is formed on the retina. It's a delicate membrane. We will discuss about retina in the next slide. Okay, so what is lens? Lens is a eye lens is a crystalline structure which forms an inverted real image of the object on retina. Next is ciliary muscles. So what is ciliary muscles? The lens is contracted and relaxed by the ciliary muscles. In doing so, the focal length of the eye lens is also varied or changed. Okay, so what is the importance of this contraction and relaxation by the ciliary muscles? Children, whenever we focus on a nearby object, our lens will contract, or ciliary muscles need to contract, okay, in order to adjust the focal length of the eye lens. At the same time, whenever we focus on a distant object, our ciliary muscles will relax in order to adjust the focal length. Okay, so once again I repeat, whenever we focus at a distant object, ciliary muscles will relax in order to adjust the size of the lens, or in order to adjust the focal length. But at the same time, whenever we focus at a nearby object, ciliary muscles will contract in order to adjust the focal length. Okay, so that is the function of the ciliary muscles. Lens is contracted and relaxed by the ciliary muscles, and in doing so, the focal length of the eye lens is also changed. And what is next part? That is retina. See children, can you see ciliary muscles here? Ciliary muscles is also located here. Okay, the lens is held together by a muscular ligaments called ciliary muscles. This is that ciliary muscles. Okay, and you can see more, you can see the same figure in your textbook. So just go through the textbook figure, you can see the ciliary muscles over there. Okay, the lens is held in its position by this ciliary muscles. Then what is retina? That is the next part. Lens forms an inverted real image of the object. We had already discussed that, and this image is formed on the retina. The retina contains several nerve cells which convert the optical images to the signals to the brain through the optic nerve. Children, when we see a dog, our brain tells us that it is a dog. How is it possible? See, the image of the dog is formed on the retina, and this retina is connected to a series of nerve cells or neurons which is connected to the brain, and through this optical nerves, Okay, through this optical nerves, the message is passed to the brain, and the brain helps us to sense it. Okay, children. So this is the function of retina. Now, we discussed about nerve cells. So there are two types of nerve cells, cones and rods. Cones are sensitive to bright light and help us to recognize color. But rods are sensitive to dim light. Okay, these are two types of nerve cells. Next, brain. Brain is not a part of our eye, but since the optical nerves are connected to the brain, we need to discuss about the brain. Okay, the brain, again, what is the role of brain in the eyesight? The brain inverts the image, decodes the signal, and then we see the image. You might have noticed, and you had also learned about the image formed by the convex lens in the previous chapter. You all know that convex lens usually forms a real inverted image. But whenever we see an object, we are not seeing it in an inverted position. We are seeing it in an erect position. How is it possible? At the same time, our eye lens is forming an inverted image on the retina, but we are seeing the erect image of the object. So the brain helps us in this. Brain again inverts the image. The image formed by the retina is again inverted by the brain, and it also decodes the signal, and then we see the image as it is. Okay, so that is the function of the brain in the eyesight. So the light is focused by the cornea, then the iris by controlling the opening of the pupil, and then the lens. In dim light, our pupil expands to allow more light to enter your eye. In bright light, it contracts. Next, we can discuss the most important property of the eye, that is power of accommodation. So what do you mean by power of accommodation? Just now when we were discussing about the ciliary muscles, I had told you the ciliary muscles contract and relax depending upon the position of the object. That property itself is known as power of accommodation. In doing so, the focal length of the eye lens will also change. Okay, so this ability of the human eye to adjust itself such that it can see objects which are nearby and far away is called power of accommodation. Okay, so the ciliary muscles are capable of modifying the curvature of lens and thereby affecting the focal length of the lens. So what is power of accommodation? The natural ability of the eye lens to adjust the focal length of the lens is known as power of accommodation. What is power of accommodation, children? The natural ability of the eye lens to adjust its focal length is called power of accommodation. And how is it able to adjust? The change in the curvature of the eye lens help us to change the focal length. When the muscles are relaxed, that means when the lens is focusing on a distant object, the ciliary muscles are relaxed, lens becomes thin and its focal length increases. At the same time, when eye focuses a nearby object, ciliary muscles contract, lens becomes thicker and focal length of the eye lens decreases. So depending upon the position of the object, the focal length of the eye lens is also changing. And this property of the eye lens to adjust its focal length is known as power of accommodation. Now, so the same thing is explained in this slide. When viewing objects which are nearby, the ciliary muscles contract, the lens becomes thicker. It is squeezed into a more convex shape and the focal length decreases. The image falls on the retina. So here the eye is accommodating by taking a thicker shape so that the image falls on the retina. Because whenever the eye focuses on any object, whether it is a nearby object or far away object, it doesn't matter. Image should always form on retina. So if image is to always form on retina, the eye should adjust its focal length, and the ciliary muscles helps the eye lens to do this. Okay, so this is power of accommodation. When viewing objects which are far away, the ciliary muscles expand, lens becomes thinner, and it is relaxed or loosened into a less convex shape, and the focal length increases. So when the eye focuses a faraway object, its focal length increases, and when the eye focuses on a nearby object, its focal length decreases. Okay. The image again falls on the retina. So here also the eye is accommodating by taking a thinner shape so that the image falls on the retina. The focal length of the eye cannot be reduced below a certain limit. Even though we discussed that the ciliary muscles will help to decrease the focal length of the eye, but the focal length of the eye cannot be reduced below a certain limit. If you read a book very close to your eye, it will appear blurred, isn't it? So there is a minimum distance at which the objects can be seen most distinctly without strain. And this minimum distance is known as the least distance of distinct vision, or the near point of the eye. For a young adult with normal vision, the near point is about 25 centimeter. Okay, so what do you mean by the least distance of distinct vision or the near point of the eye? The minimum distance with which, or at which, not with which, at which, the minimum distance at which the objects can be seen clearly without any strain is called least distance of distinct vision. It is also known as near point of the eye. And for a young adult without any defect, for a young adult with normal vision, the near point is 25 centimeter. You should remember this value, 25 centimeter. So the near point of an adult eye is, or normal eye is, 25 centimeter. And what is the farthest point? The farthest point up to which the eye can see objects clearly is called far point of the eye. And for a normal eye, it is infinity. We can see the sun, which is at an infinite distance. Okay, so the far point of the eye is infinity, and the near point is 25 centimeter for a normal eye. Now, we told that for a normal eye, the near point is 25 centimeter and far point is infinity. But there are human beings whose near point is less than 25 centimeter or greater than 25 centimeter. Or there are some human beings who finds difficulty with the far point of their eye. It may not be infinity sometimes. So such persons will suffer defects of vision. Okay, and these defects in vision need some correction. Okay, so defects of vision and their correction. That's what we are going to discuss next. And there are three common refractive defects of the eye. First one is near-sightedness or myopia, or the common word is short sight. So what are the three common defects? The first defect is myopia or near-sightedness or short sight. And second defect is hypermetropia or farsightedness. Hypermetropia or farsightedness, or what the common word is long sight. And the next one is presbyopia. Presbyopia. Okay, so what are the three common refractive defects? Myopia, nearsightedness or short sight, hypermetropia, farsightedness or long sight, and presbyopia. Okay, so in today's session we will discuss about myopia or short sight. Rest of the defects will be discussed in the next session. Okay. So what is myopia? Myopia means nearsightedness. What do you mean by nearsightedness? A person with myopia can see nearby objects very clearly. Near sight means he has sight for the nearby objects. From the term itself we can identify the defect. Okay, so a person with myopia or nearsightedness can see nearby objects clearly. So he doesn't have any problem with his near point of the eye because he could see the near objects very clearly. His near point is 25 centimeter itself. But he cannot see far away objects clearly. So he has problem with the sight of far away objects. That means he has got problem with his far point. His far point is not at infinity. Okay children, since the person can see nearby objects very clearly, he has not got any problem with his near point, and his near point is 25 centimeter. But he has some problem to see far away objects. He couldn't see the far away objects, or he cannot see the far away objects clearly. That means he has got some problem with his far point or infinity. So that means his far point is not at infinity, but it will be less than infinity. It is shifted. Okay, backwards. So the far point for the myopic eye is nearer than infinity. That means less than infinity. And what could be the reason for this short sight or myopia? Two main reasons are excessive curvature of the eye lens. The eye lens may be very thick, and elongation of the eyeball. Elongation of the eyeball. So what are the two reasons for myopia? First one is excessive curvature of the eye lens. Okay, and the second reason is elongation of eyeball. Okay, these are the two reasons for myopia. And the image of the distant object is formed not at retina. We know that for a normal vision, image should be formed at retina. But in this case, the image is not formed at retina, but image is formed in front of the retina. Where is the image formed? Image is formed in front of the retina. So how can we correct this defect? This defect is corrected by using concave lenses, so that the lens will bring the image back to retina. So the person with short sight should wear a specs with concave lens. Okay, he should wear a concave lens in order to correct this defect, such that the image is formed on retina. Okay, in this figure it is very clear. See, this is the myopic eye. Here the light rays are passed through this eye lens, and since it is the convex lens, the light rays after passing through convex lens will be converged to a single point. But here all the light rays are converged at this point here. This is the retina part, but the light rays are not converged at retina. Light rays are converged in front of retina at a point which is in front of retina. Light rays are not formed at retina. This must be the actual case. Light rays, all the light rays should converge on the retina. But since this person is suffering from myopia, the light rays are not converged at the retina, but it is converged at a point in front of the retina. So this is the defect, and how can we correct it? By using a concave lens like this. So if concave lenses are used, see, these light rays at first pass through the concave lens and it will diverge a little bit, and this diverged light rays are passing through the eye lens, and whenever this diverged light rays pass through the eye lens, finally the rays will get converged on the retina. Okay, so a myopic person can correct his defect by wearing a concave lens. Okay, so that's about myopia. So what is myopia? A person with myopia can see nearby objects clearly, but he cannot see faraway objects clearly. The far point of the myopic eye is not at infinity, it is nearer than infinity. That means it is less than infinity. So we want to bring the far point of a myopic eye to infinity. So for that we need to use a concave lens. And what are the causes for myopia? First one is excessive curvature of eye lens. Second one is elongation of eyeball. These are the two causes of myopia, and it can be corrected by using a concave lens. And in a myopic person, the image is formed in front of the retina, not on the retina. Okay, So this is about myopia, and we will discuss about hypermetropia and rest of the defects in the next session. So children, that's all for today's session. So we had discussed about defects of vision, and also we had discussed about different parts of human eye and its function, and you must study all the parts and its function too. It's very, very important, because you can expect the functions of any two parts of the human eye. So you must be aware of all the parts of human eye and its functions too. You can see notes related to all the defects of human eye. So let it be. Download the notes, file the notes and learn. Okay, we will discuss rest of the defects in the next session. All of you take care. Attend the test and send me the answers quickly. All of you stay at home. Take care. Thank you.